Yinka Ojewole is joining us today. He's an experienced financial service professional with over 2 decades of working experience within the banking and pension fund industry. Okay, he holds a Master's of Science degree in financial economics from the University of London and a bachelor's degree in accounting from Obafemi Awolowo University. Mr. Yinka Ojewole is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, in addition to other professional designations. Over the past 13 years, he and his family have been living and working as expatriates in the Middle East and North America. Ika is a real estate investor and has interest in growing his real estate portfolio in Nigeria. He's married with children. And also we have James Olumide on this panel today. James Olumide is a clergyman and a result-oriented entrepreneur with consensus attention to critical details and big picture needs. He bagged a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering at the University of Benin and has attended numerous courses in administration and management. James Olumide has served as industrials project manager, a strategic leader, and a resourceful administrator for decades. Now, as a motivated real estate investor, James Olumide has a passion to go over and beyond to turn dreams into reality. And then we have Aki Opatola. Aki Opatola is an alumnus of the Federal University of Technology, Minna, Niger State. He started his career at Dorchester Property Management Company, Ikoyi, after which he moved on to Joe Ahibe and Associates, a firm of chartered estate surveyors and valuers. He then gained over 11 years of experience in the Nigerian financial services industry with Sky Bank PLC and Diamond Bank PLC, where he rose to become a business manager at Apapa, Lagos. Aki Opatola is a senior partner at Olawale Jordan Company, a firm of estate surveyors and valuers with offices in Lagos and Abuja. Prior to this, he was head of origination and brokerage at Northcourt Real Estate. And before then, he was the chief operating officer of Brokerfield Real Estate Services Limited. He has over 15 years of work experience and in-depth knowledge of valuation, commercial brokerage, and corporate real estate consultancy. He's an associate member of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. Aki is a member of the International Real Estate Federation, that's FIAPSI, and the current treasurer of the Nigerian chapter. He's a member of the African Real Estate Society, AFRES, and also an accredited Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors commercial mediator and a fellow of the Certified Institute of Auctioneers. Then lastly, we have joining me to discuss today Fisayo Tamani. Fisayo, he has an HND in marketing and worked as a sales representative before relocating to the UK. Fisayo is currently working with Salford City Council IT department and has lots of real estate investments in Nigeria. So you can see that the panel is very rich, okay? And I'll be calling them one after the other just to, if we can highlight them, as I call their names, please, host, I would really appreciate that if you can highlight them. So our first, this is Fisayo. Fisayo is joining us from the UK. Can you highlight Fisayo, please? Fisayo is joining us from the UK, okay? And he'll be discussing with us today. Then we have James Olumide. Can you highlight host as I talk so that people can put faces to the names? I hope you can hear me and we are not having technical challenges. Okay, so and then we have Aki Opatola. Yinka Ojewole earlier sent his regrets. He won't be able to be physically present with us, but he has recorded some of his responses to some questions that we have, which we'll be playing at intervals as well, because he just needed to go work. Okay, so thank you very much. Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen, once more. So we go right into into this. And I will be throwing my first question, okay, to Olumide, James Olumide, Pastor James Olumide. I mean, we all know he's a pastor already by his background. Where are you based currently? I need you to answer that question. Where are you based? Which part of the world are you operating from as a Nigerian diaspora?
All right. Good evening, good afternoon, and thank you, Engineer Debo. It's a pleasure to be here. I am residing in Maryland, state of Maryland, United States of America.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Fantastic. How many times have you visited Nigeria since you started living abroad?
To be frank, I've not visited Nigeria for once. It's just in the pipeline. Preparing to do that. I'm yet to visit since I came
okay,
abroad.
You've not visited since you started living abroad.
You're right.
Wow, fantastic. And you've been living abroad for how long?
9 years.
9 years now. Okay. Do you have any property investment in Nigeria right now?
Sure, I do. I have property investment in Nigeria.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, Fisayo, can we have Fisayo, please? Fisayo, tell us where you are based, which part of the world you are based. Host, I need you to highlight people as I call them. That will be very important for people to see them, please. Highlight. Fisayo, please, can you tell us where you are based? Spotlight, Fisayo. Fisayo, please, I hope you can hear me because you need to put on your video and you need to unmute. Whilst we are waiting for Fisayo, Akin, or Kwatola, please, all the panelists, discussants, please, I need you to unmute and put on your video so that moving amongst us wouldn't be a challenge. So, Akin, I'm sure you are not based. Akin, you are not yet based in the. You are not based in the. Right? You are still here with us.
I haven't jackpot yet. I'm still here, sir. Live from Lagos, Bagada.
Live from Lagos, Bagada. Fantastic. Okay. I think we're having a challenge with Fisayo. Maybe when he can hear us. Okay, Fisayo, you can hear us now. Can you unmute your video as well? Or is there any challenge with that?
Yeah, so my video is not.
Oh.
Are you hearing me?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. So where are you talking to us from? Where are you based?
Presently, I'm living in United Kingdom, in city of Manchester.
Oh, fantastic. And how long have you been out of Nigeria?
About 2 decades now. I've been in UK
about
for
2 decades now. Wow,
yes,
20 years.
20.
Have you visited Nigeria since that time? And how many times?
I can't count how many times I've been visited Nigeria. It's only that about 5 years ago, I've not been able to come to UK. I mean to Nigeria rather. But I've been coming to Nigeria often. Before I used to come every year because I have a business I'm running in Nigeria. I sell truck and big generator. So anytime I import my goods to Nigeria, I follow them to Nigeria for sales.
Oh, fantastic. But in the last 5 years, you have not been opportune to do that.
Yes, I think 2 years before the coronavirus. So since then, I've not been able to come to Nigeria.
Oh, wow. I can imagine. I can imagine. So when are you planning to come next?
As soon as I'm willing to come by the grace of God by next year.
Oh, okay. Fantastic.
Yeah,
so do you have property investments in Nigeria?
I have some. I have business in Nigeria. Yeah.
as well. And property investment as well, properties apart
Yes,
from other.
yes. I have few.
Yeah, I know you do, but I just wanted us to confirm that to our participants. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let me start from you. Let me just take the question from you, and then I go to Pastor Lumide James. Then we'll play some of what Ojewole has for us. Rihanna, please get ready. We'll play some of Ojewole stuff right now. So after I ask this question, and we have Fisayo and Pastor Lumide answer. So Fisayo, what is the motivation behind your wanting to buy or build properties in Nigeria whilst you are abroad? I mean, for a lot of Nigerians abroad, it's difficult convincing some of them, okay, that they need to buy properties at home. Why? What has been the motivation for you? Why are you investing at home at all?
Actually, I have 2 or 3 reasons why I choose to have investment in Nigeria. First and foremost, right from my own set, I believe that I'm not going to die in abroad. That no matter how abroad so good or whatever, since I was not born here, so there's no way it can be like home. So I have my belief that my holding age, I'm coming back to Nigeria to come and spend my whole age in Nigeria. That is number one. Then, secondly, the population. Nigerian population it shows and make me realize that according to MBX, by 2050, Nigeria will be the 3rd largest population in the whole world. So, being a marketer, I know that the population give Nigerian opportunity that anybody that having a business in Nigeria can thrive and can get it. So those are the things that make me have a dream and have a focus that Nigeria is the best place to invest.
Wow, fantastic. So you saw the futuristic opportunity there, business-wise, and you also, because that is where you would retire. Those are the 2 major motivations for you. Fantastic.
Yeah, the population, the way they grow.
Yes, population, yes. So let me then ask you this question. How will you describe your experience on a scale of 1 to 10? Will you say your experience at investing in properties at home, either by buying or building them and managing them, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, well, how will you rate your experience? Will you say it's been very, very excellent experience, fantastic experience, so you have no issues, so it's 10? Or will you say, I'm having some difficulties, and so it's neither here nor there for me, so it's 5? Or will you say, man, I have so much to discourage me, it's just that I'm hell-bent on investing in Nigeria? Well, how will you score or gauge your experience in terms of challenges that you've had to face doing your real estate investment in Nigeria?
Thank you very much, sir. I can say presently, I can say 7/10.
7/10, fantastic. So just hold your thought, because I will still be coming back to you, because you'll be telling us what is holding the 3. What are the things that are really the challenges that you've experienced that you are not giving Nigeria 10/10? So I'll go to Pastor Lumide James. Pastor Lumide, you have investments in Nigeria. Why are you investing in Nigeria? You've been out of the country for 9 years. Why are you still thinking of investing in Nigeria? You are based in the US. Yes, can we hear from you?
Okay. Really, I believe that home is home. And I've asked myself these questions from time to time. It's like when it comes to anything significant and they are trying to get people's personal information, I discovered that even for those that have already naturalized, maybe in US, UK, Canada, they still go deeper and ask you your country of origin. And I asked myself, why is that important? If it is important to them, why will it not be important to us? So, again, like even if you become American citizen, British citizen, Canadian citizen, no matter how high you rise, when you're going to be addressed, you're going to be addressed as maybe a Nigerian American or British Nigerian or Nigerian Canadian. So you just cannot wish away your country of birth. That way, it's your place of origin. So, home is home. I see it that way. And also, there's every possibility that, I may retire, and return to my country of origin, And like the first speaker said, there are people in Nigeria that are doing pretty well, investing in properties. So that means there's a good market for it. So I mean, one should not just be blinded from that fact. So I believe that it's just beneficial, to invest in properties in Nigeria.
Wow, interesting. Do you know that what you just said now, I mean, must have been felt by somebody living abroad. The fact that even there, even when you've naturalized,
right,
when you still feel from, they will still ask you your country of origin. And they usually would describe it as a Nigerian American, or Nigerian, whatever. So Nigerian is still part of you. So why?
Exactly.
Home is home, I can imagine. So again, on a scale of 1 to 10 for you, how would you judge your experience investing in property in Nigeria? The challenges, the wins, the losses, the gains, the difficulties, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the least. What would you score your experience?
Well, I think I will also give it 7 over 10.
Wow, you will also be 7 over 10.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, fantastic. So, Aki, over to you. You have clients. You are a professional here, and I'm sure you have clients abroad, right? Aki,
Yes,
you have some of your clients are abroad, right?
That's correct.
Fantastic. Yes, so what would you say is the reason why a number of them are investing in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you very much. So there are a number of reasons. One of it too, and I would like to put that one first, is of course the devaluation of the local currency here. So with the weaker naira, you have most of those foreign currencies much stronger. So it's more attractive. It is relatively cheaper for Nigerians in diaspora to own homes and make property purchases now. We've seen the trend over the past 5 to 8 years, and it has been increasing year on year. So that's on one hand. On the other hand is, as some of the other panelists have said, people, no matter what, Nigeria is still our country. Everybody is hopeful. And because it is a developing economy, yes, there are always opportunities, and the increase in your investment most times is more rapid. We've seen in different clusters, especially when people invest with that motive in mind. Even if you don't invest with that motive, when you do a revaluation of your assets from time to time, you see that it has increased. We've seen a couple of people smile within the last 3-4 years too, because, for instance, infrastructural developments, we've seen the blue rail that came on stream, I think it was early last month, that would take commuters from Mile 2 to Marina. So those type of infrastructural developments, those type of infrastructure that the government will put in place will definitely increase investments across board. So let me leave it at that for now.
Oh, fantastic. Now let's Rihanna, please give me a signal once you are ready. I will need us to play Ojewale's responses to some of the questions. But before we do that, I want to ask any of the speakers, do you have any notable challenge you have faced investing in Nigeria? And how, if you have, how have you mitigated them? If you have mitigated them, how have you? This question is to Olumide, Pastor Olumide or Fisayo. Do you have any notable challenge? That 3 that you held on to, why you didn't score us 10, why you didn't score investing at home 10, that 3 that you held on to, what would you say is a challenge? Pastor Olumide,
All right.
do you have any major challenge you have run into investing in Nigeria?
Okay.
And if you have, were you able to go around it, and how?
Okay, let me seize this opportunity to appreciate you, Engineer Debo, and your company, Reality Point Limited. I wish I'd come closer to your brand much earlier than I did, because but for companies like yours, there's no way someone like me will have rated even up to that 7/10.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the truth. Like the person that raised a concern to you that you mentioned earlier on, whether it is possible at all to have foreign transaction without tears. I can relate with him. I can identify with him. Even right here, those are not my personal experiences. From time to time, I hear neighbors screaming on top of their voices, and also disturbing others. Because some people are just messing them up, ripping them up in Nigeria and all that. So, those that are close to me, I try to, redirect them and introduce them to like Reality Point.
Wow.
I've had, okay, there's this particular experience, that one of the experiences that I had. This plot of land, I finished paying for it since 2014.
Okay.
To date, I'm yet to get physical allocation.
Wow.
Right. And so since January 2022, I'm like, enough is enough. I need to get this. And I've been on that case, but I discovered that, even the staff in that company, they are trained to lie, they are paid to lie. And they keep deceiving. They're going to assure you, okay, don't worry, next month we'll take care of that. We have brought out your file right now. We're working on it. Long story short, up to now, nothing has been done. Now it's gone to the point that the MD of that company has blocked me. I can't reach him again.
Oh.
He's blocked me off completely. So, and there's another experience. I bought a plot of land, and I asked for the documentation, after the physical allocation, but it was the realtor that represented me for the allocation, did a video recording, and then sent it to me. I said, okay, what about my documentation? So she agreed to send it. I guess she must have been thinking that she was dealing with someone who does not know much about documentation for property. Because I was shocked when I received the parcel and I found out that it was what they sent is contract of sale and some paper receipts. And to me, I'm like, contract of sale, what about the deed of assignment? What about the survey, the register survey? Because contract of sale, can be executed, and eventually what's it called? The transaction may not have been completed. And then contract of sale does not transfer ownership to the buyer. Yeah. So I got in touch with her. She's like, oh, it was a mistake. The deed of assignment and the survey was in her house. I wonder why my document should be in her house to start with. And that the contract of sale was in the office. So it was a staff that package and send it to Korea, thinking that that was all that was supposed to be sent. I said, no problem. Now let me have the deed of assignment and the survey. So okay, she's going to do that. Well, it took more than 2 months after that, with much pressure before I could get it. Now, when I eventually got it, I discovered that the survey that was sent was a provisional survey instead of registered survey. The money that I paid should give me is a registered survey, because in the contract of sale, the amount for the survey was stated there. And, that amount we do registered survey in that location, And then I discovered also that the deed of assignment did not carry the stamp, the MBA stamp, and it wasn't signed. So I complained, and to date, both the realtor and the MD of the developing company, they are not responding. They are not communicating with me anymore.
That is the second one.
Yes, the second one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Can you
So
imagine?
these challenges are there. There are some of these people that the moment they know that you are not physically present in Nigeria, they just want to mess you up. They want to rip you up. They want to take advantage of you. And they're still there.
Wow, thank you very much for sharing that experience. I can imagine what you would have passed through. Fisayo, Deji, please get ready. Is at the point I will bring you up. So, but Fisayo, let's have you, please. Can you speak to why did you withhold 3 out of 10 to score 7? Why did you withhold 3? I mean, what are the experiences you've had? If you were able to mitigate them, how were you able to? Okay, we'll still talk generally about how to guard against some of these experiences that we are hearing, but let's go ahead. So, Fisayo, share with us.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I think the same thing that we that live in abroad, I think we are facing the same challenges. The reason why I hold the remaining 3 is because of the system in abroad. We cannot be everywhere, especially we that we in abroad, especially that those are working in organizations that are not self-employed. We don't have more than 28 days holiday in a year, which we'll be planning within that 28 days for so many things. We go on holiday with the family, whether in abroad, in Europe, whatever. So within that 28 days, we cannot be everywhere. So that 3 remaining I hold based on trust and integrity. Because there is no way we that in abroad want to do something in Nigeria. Not every time will be there. But we realize that people, I'm sorry to say this, I'm very, very sorry. I'm not meant to hurt anybody. People back home, they believe that people in abroad, they just get the money anyhow. So by the time we want to do something, maybe we contact someone back home to help us to get it, even not to at the start. By the time we get to, 99% of all will always be disappointed, because we realize that what they present to you or what they show to you is not the way it is by the time you landed there. I'm use this opportunity to thank you very much. I can never forget you. I remember to let all the participants on this program to know who are you to me. You are my pastor in Manchester here. You are a friend to my pastor. I remember when you came to visit my pastor in Manchester. That is when we met, and you enlightened me a lot. So it's you that guided me. I will have fall into the second victim. Because my first experience, a family friend introduced someone to me that I said I'm dreaming to have an estate in Nigeria. So they said there's one land around Mowe, Baku side, that's about 10 acres of land. And I sent a family friend to help me to go and visit the place and pay for the money. So when they pay for the money, then I will come down, then I will come and start to execute the project. You will not believe that when I send that money down, instead of the person to go and visit the land and check everything, the man told me that he has paid the money without visiting the place. So by the time I now send someone there, we discovered that it's a fake something. That is how I lose a huge amount of millions of naira. Before I now have opportunity to meet you, now guided me. I thank God that if you remember, sir, there's another land someone wants to sell around that NNPC, whatever, OPEC in Lagos. That he said I shouldn't be that. And that is when you now help me to send someone there. So it will be a second bad experience.
Wow.
So I thank you for that, sir. You might forget, but I see since I met
you know, mentioning it now is how I remember actually. You know,
yeah.
Now, wow.
So what made me hold the military is integrity and the trust. Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about all of these things and how to navigate even with all of these challenges. Because from my own experience, all of this lack of trust and integrity issue cuts across the world. As a real estate company, we've done transactions in other parts of the world that we have regretted. I mean, there's still about 2 transactions that we've been chasing in Dubai since 2007 and 8. You don't want to know the amount of money stuck in that transaction. And up to government level is involved in the kind of mess we found ourselves, you know. So we'll discuss these things, and because it's not peculiar to Nigeria, but of course, Nigeria has its own issues because of our decadence, let's put it that way, in our value system, as it were. I would like us to play the responses of Mr. Yinka Ojewole now. Thereafter, I will call on my friend Deji Adeleke to share his own experience in terms of what it has been like. He is a real estate investor. He has interest in real estate, particularly in South Africa, and he also has in Nigeria. And he's also trying to do some things in the US now. So he will share with us. Let's listen to Mr. Yinka Ojewole. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Well, personally, I will share the story of how we got our own property built in Nigeria. It's a 5-bedroom duplex, and we were able to finish it under 2 years. But the way we went about doing it was that my wife was at home at the point in time when she was able to immediately supervise the construction, though it was started before I left. So during the course of the construction, we were able to make sure that we have some trusted people to do the procurement of the materials. Then before the significant stages of the construction, we were able to come back home to see how well it was doing. We came home to buy, the finishing that we needed, the tiles and a whole lot of other materials that we think it's important we get the quality we wanted. So we were on ground to supervise the procurement of those materials, and we just handed over the installation to the builder when we left. And in terms of the management, initially we were managing it afar through some of our relatives, but we didn't get the desired outcome until we engaged the services of Realty Points to help us do the property management, and we've been seeing the difference in getting a professional manager to handle our property management. And we say that has been the trend ever since we left. Anytime we want to complete a building, we will make sure that we're on ground to do the procurement, and then we'll hand over the implementation and installation of the materials to the builder. So those are the ways we've been able to navigate the challenges of having, someone to just build in our absence, and it has been worthwhile. Thank you so much. In terms of finances, the way I've been able to go around it in financing my property investment in Nigeria has to do with converting some of my equity that I have in the stock market into, property investments by selling some of the shares that have appreciated quite significantly since the time I bought them into property investment, as well as regularly sending funds back home. Foreign exchange has been pretty much on our favor because of the value of the local currency, the naira. And so most often times you find out that by sending money consistently over time, you'll be able to acquire enough finances to be able to, execute the building projects. Although inflation has also played a role in making the value of the investment a little bit lower. The rising cost of building materials has not also helped. But in terms of finances, it's a combination of both the sale of my stock as well as regular remittances of some of the earnings that I earn from my regular job over here. So that's how I've been able to finance my deals. Thank you. It is true, virtually everyone living abroad that has intention of investing in Nigeria will have heard one or two of the horror stories of sending money home for property investment only to come back and meet nothing, or in case of building being built with inferior materials, whereas the intended building materials of higher quality were not used. So I've had experiences of some of my friends that have gone through that, and the way that one of them eventually went around it is to take the initiative of coming home regularly to actually come in, do the investment himself, making sure that he's able to supervise the the building of such material of such projects, making sure he purchased the materials himself, tiles and some various high quality materials that he wants to use in his building, and making sure that he knows one or two persons that he can just hand them over to just to install. So sometimes it's a challenge to have somebody that you can really hand over funds to and expect the good outcome. So that's the way I think some of those of us in diaspora has been able to navigate the challenge of relying on relatives or friends or acquaintances to supervise building projects. Thank you.
Please, can you share with us?
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Are you in a place you can use your video?
Yes, I think so.
Please put on your video. I would like
to see me. Okay.
Thank you. Yes. So share with us. So explain what made me start to meet this morning to say, Debo, are you sure this thing is possible without tears? Yeah.
So good evening. I'll make it. My name is Debo. I've been outside. I left Nigeria 21 years ago.
Yeah.
Moved to South Africa, and just this year I moved to the States. In Atlanta, Georgia. I've listened to everyone. I will try and share another. I also have same stories like them, but I think I would like to share something different so that to spice it up.
Okay.
So I'll start with so people have been spoken about land and so on and so forth. I would even share more on rentals. So I think about 14 years ago, I bought a land in Abuja, commercial area, mixed use actually, commercial and residential. So we started developing, and I think one of the biggest challenge those of us in diaspora have, especially for those of us who have stayed out for a while, is that we are used to integrity. When somebody says A, we expect A. When you go to the market, when you see something, you expect it to be that.
Mm.
So this particular property, there was somebody who was helping me, and maybe because I have knowledge of real estate, maybe that was the problem. The quote he was giving me was just out of this world.
Mm.
And at some stage, when I was going to finish that property, I took 3 weeks off, came to
Mm.
Nigeria myself to finish up the property.
Wow.
Just because I just couldn't really get anybody that I could trust that would use the quality that I wanted.
Mm.
I finished the property, left, gave it to an agent to rent out. The first year was sweet. The second year, the agent collected money and never remitted.
Wow. Wow.
And then I got angry. I spoke to a friend and was like, no, don't use an agent, use a lawyer, use a lawyer. And I said, okay, get me a young lawyer, vibrant, this and that. They got me a young lawyer. I spoke to him. I told him, look, I'm an injured lion. This is my experience. This. He laughed. Young boy, I was like, okay, let me encourage him. Give it to him. The first year, I got my rent. The second year, he collected the rent without remitting to me.
Wow.
I got to know later on, he came up with a story and said that the tenants paid into his account and there was a court judgment on his account. Immediately, the money got into his account, it was garnished,
Wow.
and the money was...
Amen.
I still have all these on emails that I can forward to you. I was livid. I said, look, I said I wanted to report him to NBA.
MBA, yeah.
And I think also problem in Nigeria that we have is the fact that when anybody does anything wrong in Nigeria, we are quick to beg on behalf of that person.
Josa, Emma
Yeah.
Binu.
Everybody is like, is your brother, or you are bigger than that. Yeah. I'm like, listen, the difference between Nigeria and so many other countries is that there are consequences of your action and you will face it. But in Nigeria, everybody started begging me. I said, no, I'm going to report him. Long and short, everybody started begging me. I left. And since then, I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it myself.
Wow.
I'm going to do it myself. And subsequently, I'll just come to Nigeria. I come to Nigeria often because I have so many other interests. So I come and I was managing it long and short. So after 4 or 5 years, I had a tenant who took the place for 5 years. She was running a school and so on and so forth. And eventually I told her, look, the rent needs to go up. Anyway, long and short, she moved out of the property. And lo and behold, I had to spend equivalent of 4 years rent to renovate that property.
To fix the place back. Wow.
Now, in fact, when she moved out last year, I was so angry. I said, look, I was going to sell that property. So I put it in the market like that. I said I was going to sell it. No, I didn't get good offers. And, they just felt, the guys are abroad. Offer him something. And, I just said no. Then in March this year, I came to Nigeria, looked at the property, walked around, and I just felt, you know what, instead of me selling it for X, let me rather renovate and put it to use. Everybody was like, oh, no, don't worry, we'll help you do it. We'll help you do it. I'm like, let me do this myself. No, don't worry, we'll do it. So the first guy, he said, okay, was renovating it. And they just said, no, just pay some money and we'll do it. So they needed to tile 25 square meters. They took off the tiles and needed to retile it again. And then he sent me and said, no, they bought sand 6 tires, 2 loads of 6 of 2 loads of 6 tires truck to tile 25 square meters. So I there was a borehole on the premises. They said it wasn't working, so they had to be buying water. And then when I looked at it, I just saw that these guys were just simply taking advantage of me. And so I got a bit angry. I says, no. I can't work with this. If I didn't know about it, it was going to be much easier. So I said, okay, fine. I spoke to a friend, just can I get somebody to manage the process? Can I get a supervisor? His job is just to supervise. I would, deal with it. He would just supervise, do videos and this and that. Okay, so they recommended somebody. And then he started working. He was delaying the project. A renovation that should have taken just about 4 weeks ended up taking 7 months.
Whoa.
Yeah. I at some stage I said, you know what? This extra 6 months could have given me about 3 million naira in rentals. But just because of this, everybody trying to take advantage. And I think the worst part is that let me use plumbing as an example. There's thick pipe, there's light pipe. Sorry, I'm going very technical. A light pipe will probably cost you 400 naira. A thick pipe will probably cost you 700 naira. When they give you a quote, they'll give you a quote and say they want to buy a pipe, maybe 900 naira. You're like, okay, it's fine, go ahead and buy it. However, they will go and buy a light pipe. Now, the consequences of that is they will put that pipe in the wall. After 3 months, it starts to leak. The plumber has gone, everything. At the end of the day, so it becomes very, very difficult for those of us in diaspora. And, that's when I saw your post, I'm like, really? Is it possible to do it without tears? It's so sad that integrity and loyalty has more or less become very scarce in Nigeria.
Very scarce,
yeah. So that has been my recent experience. Other one, I bought land in Ilorin, agricultural land, paid through a lawyer. And eventually the lawyer told me that no, they have signed. The lawyer actually told me that the seller has signed and I should go ahead and disburse the money. And I did. And then 2 days ago, 2 days after, he called me and said no, he didn't sign, and that the guy was refunding my money. Yeah, these are people that, because he picked up that this guy's in diaspora, probably would have sold it too cheap for him. His farm is next to this, and he refunded my money.
Wow.
So it's I wish we could have a team of people like you, and I think for people like you with integrity, it's high time you probably distinguish yourself and come up with, I don't know whether there's going to be a body that would, you form an association where people can, that if this person is a member of this association, if anything goes wrong, you can actually take it on. Because, here, I just moved to the States. I've gotten my license to be a realtor. There's a body that does that. If I do any transaction and goes bad, you don't even have to deal with the agent. You just go to the commission and say, so agent, there's an insurance for that. There's an insurance that you as a realtor, as an agent, you get to subscribe to every month or every year.
Professional indemnity.
Yes, professional indemnity. You know, and I think probably that is what is required in Nigeria now, because yeah, there are just too many stories, and for the few that are doing it well, are doing it professionally.
Wait.
Very well.
Who is that?
You guys are very few. A lot of people don't know this, and it's so easy to
Immaculate, soup
just
for that bag.
paint
Wait, the way
people
like
with
that.
the same.
Soup, damn.
Ooh, I see somebody's.
Very-
Yeah, it's so easy to paint everybody with the same brush. So I think there's a need for a stand. You know, you need to come together, set a standard, and be known as an association where somebody does anything bad and you report. You are not going to go to the office and the president will be begging you that it's one of our boys, let's call him. No, there's an insurance, there's an indemnity to say, if I buy land in this place and anything goes wrong, so far this guy shows me a seal to say, look, I'm a member of so association, then I can go to bed knowing that if he's a member of this place, if anything happens to me, I'm going to get my money. Thank you.
Fantastic, Deji. Fantastic. Wow, I sympathize with you. I mean, in fact, the story of that property, can you imagine that? It's as if you really never benefited from that property since to build it was an issue, to get to manage it has been an issue. I can to renovate another issue. Wow.
You know, right now I've put that property in the market and I'm insisting on 2 years rent. If you are not able to pay, just leave it. I'm happy for it to be locked.
I can imagine that. I can imagine. And to know that you are not alone in this. And guys, let me tell you this, for those of us that are in diaspora, sincerely, whatever it is you're facing that you are sharing with us, it's not as if those of us here are even immune to those things. We are facing them as well. It's just that our own situation is better because we're on ground, we're in touch. So we probably can maneuver, and easily identify the right people to work with, maybe a lot better. And once we see them, we cling to them as it were, than you. Maybe that is really the challenge. Other than that, I can tell you for a fact it's challenging, and that is the truth. It's challenging. However, it's not impossible. And there are certain guidelines that I will share with us. And thank you, Deji, for what you shared, because it's also in line with some of the thoughts we are having. But to make it happen, probably, feedback from a session like this will also help us fast track the need for such, because it is actually high time that we do that. Let's hear from Mr. Yinka Ojewole. The host says they are ready right now. So let's hear him respond to some of these questions. Over to you, please, host.
Well, there are some challenging country. The first one in someone that can really trust in terms of seeing the execution of the of the process. Let's see. Oftentimes we find that they are quite old. We know that we are not readily available. The second challenge that we face relates to building materials. Oftentimes the initial estimate that you have in mind when you started the project, wait before the construction is done, we face during the course of our building project in Nigeria.
Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I think network is a challenge, but we got one or two things. So, Aki, this is a challenge for us. Okay, this is a challenge for us as professionals. what are the ways by which we can mitigate these challenges that our brothers are facing, our brothers and sisters in diaspora are facing? I believe that there are ways. I mean, from your own standpoint, what are the things that they can do? Over to you, Akin.
Okay,
What
thank
are
you
the
very
things
much.
that we can do?
Yeah, so thank you very much. So, so I listened attentively. I heard Sayo and Deji reel out the challenges they've had. But I'm sure that everyone will agree that where there are challenges, there are also huge opportunities. So for someone like me, I play in the professional services industry. I make sure that I have all my qualifications. I go for regular trainings. I'm a member of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, amongst others. So I also expect that now that we have very well-informed clients, so whether you're a buyer or you're a renter, these days, information is everywhere. So, and I noticed that also we need to also blame ourselves. You see, for professional services, most times, I call it the 3 R's, is either we are led to clients from relationships, referrals, or recommendations. So even these recommendations or referrals, how do you go about vetting? My own clients, I can say at least for my portfolio, maybe 20, 30% of my clients are based overseas. And it all starts with one client that I've done a fantastic job for. My younger sister, she lives in Maryland in the US. Initially, she has property that I wasn't managing, no issues. But gradually, when she had a challenge with her agent, she reached out to me. This is the last born of my family. She went through extensive research. She said, okay, I want to bring you on board, but this is not about family. This is strictly business. And you know, this is an investment. And I totally understood. This process that she was vetting me in quotes took about 6 to 8 months. She took her time. She said, look, Aki, are you sure? Aki, where's your flair? Do you have flair for sales or is it rental? I don't want to make a second mistake. She went through. So eventually she said, okay, Aki, let me try you with this property. She gave me a smaller one. And I handled it professionally. I also noticed what clients want, irrespective of whether she's my sister or not. And they like feedback. So I noticed that every fortnight or every month, as it may be, I will give her feedback, whether the property has a tenant, whether the challenges I'm having, and I give her the feedback any way I can, via WhatsApp, voice note, email, so she's happy because I'm keeping her abreast. And guess what she also does? She also tries to get a second opinion. So when I tell her that, look, this is the going rate for rents in this area, she knows me, professional, but she will still go and get a second opinion so that she will bounce ideas. Actually, you are not an island of knowledge. Why are you telling me that this area, the maximum rental you can get here is 4 million? I asked somebody else, or I Googled online. I think you can get this information now. We leave half of this information, you can get the data online. Actually, I'm saying that you can get it for slightly higher. Then I'll need to justify. So that also puts me on my toes. I know that I cannot, she cannot just be spoon-fed. So that's on one hand. On the other hand is, like I mentioned earlier, there's so many challenges, but there are ways that we can also surmount those challenges. Because I tell people that, look, our real estate market in Nigeria now is booming. Buying land in Nigeria can be very challenging. There are lots of risks. We have fraudulent agents out there, definitely. But so I belong to the National Association of Realtors in the UK, in the US, but I'm based here. So I've seen even clients here doing complete and thorough due diligence. For someone like me, if I'm found wanting, they can easily go and report me. I also have professional indemnity. So if something goes wrong, they can easily go and check up or report me. As Mr. Debo Adejana also mentioned, it is not unique here. I also play real estate in a couple of other countries outside of Nigeria and within Africa. So these challenges are everywhere. There are ways that we can also surmount them. But I always advise people, look out for professionals. Look out for professionals that are intelligent, go for trainings, have the knowledge, and also have the fear of God. Because even when I was hearing Safisayo's tales, I know for someone to have even blocked you off reaching them, it can be very harrowing. But okay, yes, so, sorry, Mr. James Olumide's experience can be quite harrowing. But so because of these kind of harrowing stories, people like us, that we have very few clients, we respect those clients, we try to do good quality work, we get more and more of referrals. So I found out that even in the UK, when I was checking, I think they said that 5 million Nigerians living in the UK. So I'm thinking, wow, okay, this can be a huge opportunity for you. For professional services, you can't go out and tell people that, look, you're the best realtor, you're the best property valuer or property manager out there. So just do one good job for somebody. Then your good word, the good name, your good work will begin to spread gradually. So actually you have a huge opportunity. And let me also mention before I round up that what I've also noticed within the last few months is that a lot of the top developers in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt markets here in Nigeria, they are doing global roadshows. So they're going to go and meet their target markets in China, in fantastic cities in the UK, in Europe, and in the US. Yes, which goes to show that the attraction. So if they're going to do that, they're putting their name, their brand, their integrity out there, and you trust. These Nigerians diaspora are very smart. They're going to do their due diligence, ask them so many questions, and they will definitely deliver. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aki. Thank you. So as we wrap up, because of time, we may not be able to bring up Mr. Ojewole again. But let me just say a few things to some of the things we've said. I mean, we've heard you. And sincerely, a number of the things you've said are quite, I mean, that's what it is, really. That's what it is. It's just what it is. I mean, that's just the truth. However, there are ways by which you can mitigate this risk that exists. We've already mentioned some of them. I'll just highlight them and then just give maybe some additional tips to guide us. Number one, I would say, as a Nigerian in diaspora, a lot of us still believe in family. And sincerely, there is nothing as strong as a good family. Okay? But you must know the family you are talking about, or your family member that you are talking about. Because let me tell you something. From our own experience, we've seen fathers, parents, fathers walk into our office and tell us that, you know what, this land you said is so amount, this is how much I'm going to call it for my son. I just let you know so that when he pays, you know that you give me the top of it. We are the one that will be telling Baba that, sorry, we cannot take that. That can't happen here. If you want money from your son, ask him. Baba will say, now you go tell me how I will deal with my son. Do you understand? Some of them will say, if we ask him money, he doesn't give us. This is how we'll get money from him. But we have to insist and let them know that, no, you cannot top or load our property price for someone. It's not possible. The best we can do for you is take you as an agent to him. And when he buys our property for the price we are selling it, we pay you what we pay agents as commission. Any other thing we can't be involved. Do you know what happens in most cases? They take their transaction elsewhere. So someone does that packaging for them. I mean, relatives. So if a father can do that, you can now imagine siblings or relatives or friends. Those ones do it on a per second billing. I mean, you go to sites with somebody because a Nigerian in diaspora have sent them after talking to the Nigerian diaspora that this property is okay. You sent him some things and all of that. He has looked at it, but he wants to, have somebody view it and tell him what it is really like life. So you take the person to the site and the person would tell you, Oga, what is in it for me? If you don't have anything in it for the guy, guess what? He's going to report nonsense to that guy. Is supposed to have the interest of the person sending it, as in to ensure that he gets a good property and all of that. But no, he's mostly interested in his own. And even if that property is wrong, even if it has issues, do you understand? Because of his interest, self-interest, he will be beclouded and he will just give wrong judgment. So I tell people, it's not enough to think that you can rely on family. I mean, if you can rely on the professional family, look at the case of Aki. The sister wasn't giving him property earlier on, but she came back. But you know, even the fact that Aki is her brother does not stop her from doing her due diligence. We have relatives that we manage their property. Do you understand? My brother buys into our property. We give him reports. When we have delays, we have to explain to him. Do you understand? I mean, we have to be responsible and accountable. Do you get? It's not just enough that we are related. Something has to be professionally done. So what am I getting at? I'm saying that what I can say, we need to take it very important. We need to deal with professionals. Let's identify professionals. Who are professionals? Professionals are simply people who keep to certain professional ethics and can be held responsible for it. For example, in case of Deji, you know, a lot of us sometimes, because anything goes in Nigeria, a lawyer really has no business managing your property. That is not what they are trained for. They really don't do it very well. The only thing they are supposed to be doing in your property business is doing documentation, which you pay legal fee for, or representing you in court if you have to take a tenant to court. Your agent or your property manager, sorry, is the one that is really trained, you know, to manage property effectively. For example, the excuse the lawyer gave you can never be tenable anywhere within professional circle. Because number one thing they teach you about professional ethics in terms of managing properties, that you keep a separate account for your clients. Your client's property, the payment of tenants and all does not go into, in your company, you operate two accounts. One account is for clients and the other account is for your business. It is your commissions that you can pay into that other account. Then this other account is for clients. Any money that goes into it is not your money. You know, it's basic. Do you get? So, but a lawyer, most lawyers now have taken over property management. A lot of people give them because they feel that they can easily, you know, maybe get a tenant house, which is not true, really. They don't know, they even have more problem managing properties. Reason, they don't know what to do to get a good tenant, for example. What do they know about tenant pre-qualification? They don't. Do you understand? So I would advise us, please, when we are looking to do something here in Nigeria, let's look for professionals. And I've defined professionals by people who adhere to some ethics, okay, of conduct, and they can be held liable, meaning that they have a tail, they have a trail. You can report them. Do you understand? That's number one. Number two, this indemnity thing is also something very important. We can start to ask questions. Do you have professional indemnity? In fact, as I think myself and Aki would have to work together on this professional indemnity. Not just, I know SS of yours and various have them, a number of them that are well trained and registered, but I know that a lot of developers also need to have something like this, especially on our projects. A number of developers don't even have the insurance on their projects, you know, whether under construction or fully developed, you know. But professional indemnity and the people we engage now. If you want to construct, there are people that are knowledgeable with that, and they belong to a body, and they have the fear of God, like Aki said. Because in Nigeria, really, you are almost self-regulated now. It is your conscience that regulates you, because justice is difficult to get. So even when you see somebody has done you wrong and you report to police station or you file a suit in court, if you report to the police station, you just have more money to spend. If you file a suit in court, sorry, I mean, this will be on my YouTube channel, but if you file a suit in court, it takes forever right now. So it's justice delayed, like they said, sometimes it's justice denied. So that's the experience. Okay. Yes, Redan is there as a body, and that's what I mean by Redan is an association, a trade association. Somebody is asking what about Redan. Redan is a trade association. And the truth of the matter with Redan is that Redan is not really a self-regulating body. as in charter to regulate self, as it were. We're a trade association, people can join it by choice. If Redan matter too hard for them, they can pull out of Redan and be developer and still continue their business. You understand? So they join it by choice. So it's not really making it effective for us to be able to really clamp down our members. However, we are doing the bits that we can, okay, within the limitations we have to ensure that discipline is enshrined in our membership, okay? But we are also going ahead. I mean, this current administration that will end in November sponsor the real estate regulatory bill. That passed through the House of Rep, passed through Senate, but the president did not assent, not give his consent. So the bill is non and void as it were, except if it will go back to the House, Senate, and then they would overrule the president, except that happens. Now, the new administration coming in, we also have the plan, even if this fails, to continue to push for a regulatory bill. By God's grace, you know, the presidency for Redan is coming to the Southwest. The current DP1, Barrister Akitoyade, will be the president by March, by God's grace, you know. And part of the plan is to also ensure that I'm in his team in terms of planning and making sure that things work out during his regime. And part of the plan we are having is to ensure that we try to also still, you know, lobby for a regulatory bill in the industry. It's very needed. So when you watch out for these things, okay, it will help. You have to do your own due diligence. You have to do your own vetting. You know, it's very important. Ask your own questions. Do your own research. Don't just give it up to the people and think that it will. But most importantly, let people come to you by referral or by you searching for them and they are professional, they have a trail, they have a tail. It's very important. And then communication is very key. Demand communication, periodic communication, because there is a way it puts a service provider on their toes. When you demand that, you know what, you are, for example, properties that we manage, we give reports to you every quarter or every half year. We have to inspect the property and give you the situational report, tell you the things they are to fix, tell the tenant the things that they are to fix, give you a report. So we do that quarterly or half yearly, depending on the agreement we have with the landlord, you know, and periodically within that period also, if anything happens, we usually have to communicate. If you demand communication, Yinka Ojewumi that couldn't make it, we manage one of his properties. And I like him for one thing he does, because even for me, you know, I oversee this desk. It's not like I'm the one doing this task. So sometimes my guys can be lax at getting across to him in one thing or the other. But you realize that after one day or two that you should have given him any information that you did it, you get a mail from him asking how far. So when I see that mail, because I'm always copied in those mail threads, that's when I will pounce on my guy and say, what happened? How come we didn't get across to him before he's asking? And then they will give some flimsy excuse and we'll deal with it and make sure that, that never repeats itself. Demanding for periodic, regular communication will also put a service provider on their toes. Okay, I would like to give room to any participant at all who wants to share one or two things, particularly if you've had very good experience. Let us identify the thing that is working for you with that experience so that we can also relate, especially if it's not even one of the things we've mentioned. Okay, any participant at all, you can just raise up your hand. If you look at the reaction button there and just use it to raise up your hand, I will call you up. Any participant at all. Just raise up your hand. You want to share any of your experience with us? Is there anyone? Anyone? Particularly if it's a good experience. iPhone, is that Nelson? iPhone, is that Nelson that was using iPhone that told us he's driving to work?
No, it's not. My name is Unipede Oluwatobi.
Okay, because we had asked that you changed the name of the phone.
Yeah, I was out shopping, so I had to place myself in the video so you could share. I just got into.
Okay, go ahead. Oluwatobi. Then we would have Babatunde Ashogbo. Go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good night. I would want to say good night to my pastor, Pastor Olufemi Olumide. I don't know if you can remember me, but he's my pastor back in Nigeria. After transformation, I was an usher in church, sir.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Let me spotlight you. Maybe remember if he sees you.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pastor should remember me. I was one of his ushers. It was in Nigeria then. Funny enough, I was in Maryland for 7 years. I just relocated to Canada this year.
Wow.
As well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when you mentioned it was in Maryland, I'm like, oh wow, small world.
Sorry, I was muted before. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sharing a good one. I was living when I left Sule, when I used to go to Pastor's Church, I relocated to Omale Phase 2. And I had a company manage the property that I was living in then. The owner of the property was in America. The name of the company is Shegun Adegbeye and Co. And I had a fantastic experience working with them. My rent wasn't outrageous. And the money was going for about $1 million or thereabout then, but my rent was okay. My payment was fine. My stay there, because I relocated from there to the States then, was fantastic. I never had any issues. So I'm sure that if I would ever have to do anything in the real estate in Nigeria, I would that's my first point of call. For sure. And another advice I would love to share on the platform is if it's within your range. I've had people that are in this business in Nigeria, and they will tell me, Toby, if you can't come to Nigeria, don't think about investing in Nigeria. That's being their own experience. I'm talking about pastors now in church. They'll be like, don't even send your money to me, your pastor. Make sure whenever you can come, shortly between Nigeria and America, or wherever you find yourself, that's when you should go into it. Pastor, I would love to get your contact if you don't mind. Thank you very much for the presentation, moderator.
You're welcome, Toby. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Regards to Pastor Portia.
Yes, we're here. Good to see you.
Okay, then that's good. So Arali Waja here now.
Good evening. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Good day to everyone. Diaspora Nigeria.
You can't put on your video?
Oh, no. I'm in the bedroom.
Oh, okay.
So late
go
now.
ahead.
Yes. Okay. I've had a good experience being in this meeting. I really enjoyed participating, listening to everyone that's spoken. I had forgotten, but luckily I joined. I've had a good, I've had bad experiences, as earlier said by some of the participants, in other forms of investments. But luckily, I was able to key into Reality Points, one of the engagements. It was my birthday. I had to forfeit that birthday for going for that stuff in Ikeja then. Then they were in Alausa area. I went for it. But I never for once regretted it. I did some investments with Reality Point, even with Basama group, that's the cooperative. This is the only form of investment that I've never had issues.
Wow.
The payment is as at when due, and I trust Mr. Debo. I've never seen you before, but we communicate. There are times I have issues. I tell you tell me, okay, do this, do that. And I believe in your organization. And I've always followed you via Instagram, social media, and see what is happening. I want to say you are a man of God. I don't know if you're a pastor or you're not a pastor, but I believe in your association and you're doing well. One of the best investments I've had is with your organization. I appreciate it so much. And I want to say my name as a bond that you have done well. The only investment I've had without issues is from Reality Point and Basama. Everybody's always giving me issues, but there's no time. Even their clauses, I tell you, they went to pay yesterday, say, let me get back to my guys. And immediately, it is done. It was a mistake. Your name was omitted. Just 24 hours period, it is done. So I didn't even know I was going to join this night, but I've joined. I'll tell everybody, if you have to put confidence in an organization, reality point, I'm not talking of Mr. Debo as a person, though he's the one in charge, but reality point was our competitive, fantastic. Thank you so much, and I appreciate and I thank you for having this meeting. Okay, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes,
Oyedeji, wow. Maybe, okay, we'll just take the last person. Oyedeji, let me see. I think I got that right. So just, yeah, I don't know if you can,
All right, I will try, though I'm at home too. And hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Yeah, actually, I did not plan attending this meeting because my husband sent the Zoom link to me like 30 minutes, around 9:30. And I think I learned something because this real estate has been an issue on my mind for a very long time. Myself and my husband, we've been contemplating of getting property. I have a question, and the question was, is it right, appropriate for a Nigerian to consider getting a property in abroad, or is it advisable to start with our country, from a country like Nigeria?
Okay, so I will leave that question to Nigerians that are based abroad like yourself to try and help us to answer. Okay, but I will just say before they speak that it depends on your motive. What are you trying to achieve? Okay, where are you at? And then what are your plans for the future? Those two things would help you decide whether you want to start first acquiring property in Nigeria or abroad. Your motive, what you are planning to achieve, and your future plans, okay? But if it is just for your stay and comfort, I would say that immediately it should be easier for you to get property abroad, because even there, it will be through mortgage, which is a lot easier. And you can be dealing with the one for Nigeria, maybe you want to retire back home and stuff like that later. Okay, that's what I would do, but I will still give the opportunity to anyone that is based abroad amongst our speakers, particularly if Pastor Lumide wants to talk about it, or Fisayo wants to mention one or two things, or maybe the real estate person also would like to chip in one or two things. So what do you think? Do you think she and her husband should think of investing first in Nigeria, or, I mean, the floor is open. Deji, you can go.
Hi, I think you've answered it correctly. It depends on the motive, on why you are getting a property. Of course, if it's for investment, you need to look at it. Even if it's for investment for the children and all that, yeah, I would say probably do it abroad, because I mean your rental income will be in US dollars, which is an advantage. So that when the kids are going to school, definitely the kids are likely to school in abroad or school. Yeah, so that would be it. But also Nigerian investment is good. But I mean, it's also sentimental and all that. But yeah, you could also have both, I always recommend both. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
All right. Thank you.
Just a little addition to that, I quite agree with the speaker, so you can, start with Nigeria, especially if you have, reputable people to work with. Because earlier on, when Engineer Debo was talking about working with professionals, I believe in working with the professionals. But then, among the so-called professionals, you should be able to identify, or maybe get referrals to professionals that have credibility, and like I mentioned earlier on, reality points. I have every reason to agree 100% with some of the earlier speaker that spoke about how credible and how reputable Reality Point is. There was an investment that I had with them. I've said it before. Honestly, I didn't even remember it, but when it matured, I was notified, that for my principal and ROI, where do I want the money sent to? Whereas there are some people you will be the one to be pursuing them without success for whatever you need. So like in every aspect of property investment, you can really rely on companies like Reality Point, and you're not going to regret it. So what I chose is to start first with Nigeria, and then investment abroad follows.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My regards to your husband. Tell him you attended and you even asked questions. Thank you so much, guys. I'm sure some of us have friends, relatives, and all that would have loved to be part of this session. It's not a problem. This will be dropped on my YouTube channel, Debo Adejano TV, and then we'll share the link so you can refer people to go and watch and get some information. We've spent almost 1 hour 30 minutes, and I think we would like to draw the curtain. So last words from our speakers, please. Pastor Olumide James, Fisayo, Akin Opatola, and then Deji Adeleke. We've incorporated you. So last words, please. In that order, Pastor, please. First.
Yes, once again, I want to thank God for your life, Engineer Debo, for what you're doing. It's a great job, and it's going to be, it's very, very beneficial to Nigerians in diaspora that have the opportunity of coming across, your work, the training. I've learned a lot from the training, that you facilitated, and so with that, I mean, since then, I've been operating on a different level in the sense that if there is anything that I need insight into, I know I can reach out to you, and because like minds work together, the people that you recommend, they are people like Mr. Akin said, they are not just professionals, they are God-fearing, So I want to encourage other Nigerians, that they should have confidence that we still, regardless of what is going on or their previous experiences, we still have, companies like Realty Point Limited that we can, work with, partner with, and then have peace of mind, and
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Fisayo, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time. We appreciate your coming. Fisayo.
Thank you very much, sir. I really, really appreciate for this opportunity that you give me today, sir. What will be my close to mind, it will be as an advice for my experience, that for whoever want to go on a real estate, is rather to get a one that will give a value than to have many that is not going to give a value. What I mean is that when I started having a property in Nigeria, before I met you, sir, I just have it in mind that I want to have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 property, and I go on the wrong direction. So it was later and I realized that the money I spent on having like 6, 7, if I get it right at the beginning, if I have it to get one, that one will have been giving more value than the 7 I purchased there. So my advice to everybody tonight is we should get a proper advice and should get a right people to seek advice before we able to dabble into the real estate business. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Fisayo. Thank you. Akin, over to you. The last words, please.
Okay. So for me, let me put it this way. So if you look at the ease of the World Bank's ease of doing business ranking, you will see that Nigeria ranks quite low. I think as of 2022, maybe 131 or so. So what that means is that doing business in Nigeria is quite a challenge. Yeah, so we as investors, buyers, clients, we need to put that behind the back of our minds. Transparency too is extremely low. A lot of people have mentioned the issue of integrity and trust is quite scarce here. So we need to do our own due diligence. For somebody like Mr. Debo Adejana, for the mere fact that he can put up this kind of amazing knowledge sharing session, goes to show that he's a thought leader. If you're even recommending him to your clients and your client just Google his name, they will know the type of developer he is. But like I said, amazing things are happening here in Nigeria. I would recommend people to buy and do business here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Aki. And particularly noteworthy is what you said, that, and that's what I also mentioned earlier, that we are also facing the same challenge. These challenges you're talking about that you are facing from diaspora, we that are here, that you are relying on, are facing it. We are shouldering it, and we are dealing with it. We are just maybe better suited because maybe we are on ground and we know the onions and we know how to probably limit the risk and chances. We've had to, because generally it's just decadence, as it were. So it's not, and that reflects in how we are ranked in terms of transparency and ease of doing business. Those two factors just tells you what the challenge is. But like I always say, and like I told Deji today, it's difficult, yes, but it's not impossible. Thank you very much, Aki. So Deji, your final words.
I think my final word will be a challenge to you and your and Mr. Akin that are doing well. I think there's a need for more visibility. There are thousands of Nigerians in diaspora who would love to invest in Nigeria. However, the so-called, let me call them the bad people, they have more visibility on social media. They are more out there than you guys who are doing it properly. There's a need, quite a lot of things that Mr. Akin spoke about, this association and that association. I don't know about it. For me, I don't know it exists. I don't know. So the question is, what is even the association doing about it? How's the campaign of the association to get people to know that these things exist? So I would say there's a need for more visibility. A program like this is very good. It would be very good if you kind of do this more often. And I think there's a lot of potentials. I believe, with the number of Nigerians in diaspora who have so much sentimental value to Nigeria, it's enough to develop that industry. The only thing that is lacking is the integrity and and the trust which you have. So I think you should probably do more on marketing and visibility. That'll be my advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We've had that challenge. Akin, the ball is back in our court. Visibility, particularly, is something we need to work on in terms of as individuals and also as associations, We will do that. We've taken note of all of these things. Thank you so much, everyone, for finding time to attend this session. We believed that it has been worth your time, and you've taken some very valuable and useful information to work on and to better your lot in your investment journey. Realty Point Limited is the organizer of this. They call us the Sack Your Landlord people. We are big on real estate development, on training, investment aggregation, and helping people to own their first or next house. Okay, that's one thing we are very big on, financial freedom particularly. So you can reach out to us at any time. The email to reach out to our website is realtypointltd.com. Realty, not reality, no I, is realty, let's say realtypointltd.com. And you can send us a mail at mc@realtypointltd.com. That's the easiest email to reach us. If you need anything from us, you want to make any inquiry, you want any referral, any confirmation, you are doing due diligence on anyone, and you just want to hear us out about them, fine. Feel free to contact us. Or you want us to help you check out something, whether the validity of it, the veracity of it, whatever it is, please reach out to us. We'll be glad to do that for you. We'll process your title documentations and stuff like that. Thank you so much. Until we come your way in another episode, we try to do this every quarter, different topics. Until we come your way in another episode, have a great time. Enjoy the rest of your day. If it is nighttime where you are, good night. If it is afternoon, enjoy your afternoon, the rest of your day. And if it is morning, well, welcome to your day because it has just started. So the website is on the chat, has just been dropped on the chat. And also, I'm sure they will drop some other information. Reach out to us. The email also has been dropped. Those are the easiest ways to reach us. Our IG handle is at Realty Point Ltd. At Realty Point Ltd. Thank you so much. This will be dropped on my YouTube channel, Debo Adejano TV, and also on Realty Point YouTube channel. There's a Realty Point. We'll drop it on those two channels. You can reach out there and refer to people and catch up on any other thing that you need. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you. Good night. And thank you to our speakers as well. We appreciate your honoring our call. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.